All right, I think that I am live. For anyone that wanted to show up early, I see that there's a couple people in there. Uh, you're getting some bonus time. I don't know. All right, I'm just trying to see if this is all working. This is my first live stream, so bear with me if my audio's not on or something. All righty. Greetings. Hello. How's it going? Can you hear me? I guess is my first question. Many moons ago, I used to do the live stream thing, and well, it's been like 6 years. You can hear me awesome. Uh, and you had asked, I don't know if you saw my message. Kids are kind of crazy. I understand. I have a newborn daughter. She is just over 2 months old, and I'm sure your kid's crazy. Very different. I'm sure than a newborn baby crazy, but and I guess it's not really crazy, but she gets very moody if she's not getting the amount of attention that she thinks she deserves, and will let me know. It is my first child. Yep. First child. It's been it's been interesting. It's been a journey. They don't get easier with time. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I'm really quiet to you. Am I really quiet to everyone else? I can see if I can boost my volume a little bit. I have this mic that I like, but it does seem to be a little quiet at times. You sound normal to me. My volume's up. All right, I'll see if actually my volume's all the way up. Never mind, I can't boost it. Yeah. So this is somewhat unstructured. I'm kind of just here hanging out, answering questions. I did expect to talk about Spelljammer a bit, which is why I had it going live just after that video. Flutes had asked if I thought there would be people that would like the book for the price point, and I had kind of answered it briefly. I think that newer players that haven't played Spelljammer before will probably like the book if they don't mind making up some of the mechanics, or they're just very light on mechanics and roleplay heavy. I do think that some people will definitely enjoy the book and be okay paying for it at its current price. Though people that have played older editions or that have played other space settings might be disappointed in some of the mechanics or functionality added. But I am working on a video that should be coming out later this week, I think, that has mechanics that you can add to try to improve that a bit. And I had been asking how some people feel about the mechanic of having a captain, because that's one of the things I was looking at, is potentially not even having a captain. But historically or typically there is a captain of a ship, so that one's kind of, it's weird playing in space, I think, without having a captain. But does anyone have thoughts on that or questions? I'm curious people's opinions on Spelljammer. No opinions on captains. Yeah, and there was a bit of a discussion going on. A lot of some people had expressed that it could affect the dynamic, or that it might be weird or take a lot of trust. I've never had issues with it, but I feel like you could have issues with it. I haven't spell jammed, but I've done airships. DM seem to handle it well. So did you have a captain then? I'm reading that my assumption is yes, you did have a captain, and it sounds like it ran pretty smooth. DM had some rules. And then springing up ministries. You said you've loved your limited exposure to Spelljammer. Did you buy the book, or have you been just playing in it? Because I'm curious some people's opinions versus, like, you know, if they purchased the book and are loving Spelljammer versus, oh, I've played in it and I'm loving it. Just playing it. Yeah. We had an NPC captain of the ship, and we had roles in the airship. So that was something I was considering doing, and that when I ran a ship or like a sea-based adventure a while ago, what I did was the captain was an NPC, and each of the players were officers, and the captain would basically just let them do whatever they wanted. Like, they'd kind of discuss, and I played the captain to kind of just let them do things. But it also worked well in railroading the players. If it was like, no, we need to move on with the mission or the adventure, it's like, we're going to go do XYZ now. There were arcane guns to amplify spells, small ships that could go on strike missions, like the carrier unit and its small ships in StarCraft. Okay. So you guys would then go out on little missions amongst yourselves, similar to how an adventuring party would. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I like having a captain as long as mutiny is always an option. So in an adventure I'm running right now, we do have a team leader that's technically in charge, though he runs it. He's role-playing. He's playing a fighter, and he role-plays it like he's just a big idiot. And it kind of works. But beforehand, when we had started it, my intention was that the captain or the team leader would be focused mostly by the bad guys, and so that position might get rotated through. But it hasn't happened. He's still alive. I feel like I always expect more PC deaths in my campaigns than actually happen. I think I'm just too nice when it comes down to actually killing off characters. I say that jokingly because 2 of my players are in the chat right now. Yeah. So did I had mentioned in the video that Wizards of the Coast adjusted some of the rules for the Hadazee. They did, after recording the video, make a post about updating the mechanics, and they also updated the lore, which I thought was funny because they pretty much just removed a paragraph. If you know about it, you know what I'm talking about. But they didn't actually like change the history, which I also thought was interesting. They just like removed a section of it, and they were like, they started out small, now they're big. It's understandable, though, you don't want to kill a player and not necessarily have it be fulfilling in some way. Jacob, I have never killed a player before, only their characters. It's an important distinction. But also true. I typically only like killing a player character if it's satisfying to both the player and, I mean, you know, to the story. It feels weird when like a goblin just randomly kills someone. Not that, you know, you guys are a low enough level that a goblin could kill you. Yet you haven't killed my player yet. Or killed a player yet. I don't intend to kill a player because that might have a lot of other issues that go along with it. I probably wouldn't be allowed to DM anymore, unless you could probably start like a prison DM or a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Dude, I bet people have enough time there that I could totally see that happening. Or a PC joins the party for like 3 sessions and is killed during a darkness spell. So some history on that one is Jacob is one of my players. He made a new PC. They went into a room filled with magical darkness where there was a vampire in there that could see them and beat him to death. It was not super satisfying. What was that? Ursan. Ursan was short-lived. Do you feel like you can't kill PCs when you DM? No, I feel like I can. I just typically like to... I don't know, maybe I just run things too easy. When I try making sure that players or their characters are not killed unfairly. And my players are typically super paranoid, so if they die, they probably did something really stupid. Or almost got the entire party killed because of doing something stupid, but that doesn't usually happen. They're usually pretty careful. Do you... yeah, Jake, was it fair or unfair? I want your opinion. Do you think Ursan dying was fair or unfair? I know what I think. I'm curious your thoughts on it. Follow me. That's another one of my players who's chiming in with someone who almost died doing something kind of stupid, in that they went into a cave by themselves and told everyone to follow 120 feet back, which, if you're familiar with movement speed in D&D, that is quite a few rounds of movement, especially as they were level 3 at the time. Yeah. Flutes, I'm curious, do you often kill player characters? How many player character deaths have you had, or at least recently? I gotta know if I need to step my numbers up. Jake says not. I felt like it was fair. I didn't really like playing him. It was a bit frustrating because I was a barbarian and just took a bazillion damage in like 1 round. Yeah. If I recall, it was a barbarian druid. And you had shape-shifted into something with not a lot of health. Or maybe you didn't shape-shift initially and then got killed before you could shapeshift. Yeah, okay, yeah, you did. You shapeshifted into a fire elemental. Probably wouldn't help or hurt you to get your body count up a little bit. Less than 20. Okay, I feel... okay, so let me think. I've had... I don't know if I should count... in 2+ years, I've seen less than 6 PC deaths. 3. Yeah, I haven't had too many. So my players, I have homebrew rules on resurrection that makes it a little bit harder. But it's never actually mattered because I've only attempted to resurrect one person, which is actually an NPC, and they succeeded. But typically my players, if their character dies, they're just like, I'm done. I don't even want to, like, you know, they're like, yeah, it's a good time for him to die. So I've never had a PC get resurrected before. And apparently I've had 3. I had one technically die. But it was drawing from the deck of many things. So I don't know if you really count that. Like he knew what he was getting into when he decided to draw 4 cards. So, like, I don't know if that one's really my fault if you count that as a death. And then Rollin was an amazing death. Rollin was a good death. Rollin was a werewolf who became... or was a werewolf, a monster hunter who got bit by a werewolf and became an adventurer to set out to cure himself. And he didn't want to accidentally, like, turn and transform or infect his family. But then there was an evil necromancer wizard who killed and resurrected his family, and then his family literally ate him alive while he could not bring himself to kill his undead family. If you've ever tried West March's style or run many one-shots, DM kill counts go up. I don't do a ton of one-shots, or if I do, they're generally more comedic and for like someone's birthday party, and I'm not going to kill someone at their birthday party or whatever event that I'm running a one-shot for. And I've never tried West Marches. I've heard about it. It just doesn't sound the most appealing to me, only because I don't know. It just doesn't sound that appealing. I keep missing you going live. I've only been live 15 minutes, and to be fair, we haven't really talked about a whole lot. It's more just been if I kill a lot of PCs or not. If you have any questions about Spelljammer or OneD&D or really anything D&D related, it doesn't even have to be D&D related. Feel free to ask. Ring that bell, brah. I'm not sure I understand that one, Jake. Ring that bell. Oh, you weren't talking to me. You were talking to him so that he gets notifications when I go live or upload videos. It just clicked, like just all of a sudden. Yep, hit the notification bell. West Marches in college was the bomb. Okay, so West Marches, if I understand, is more player-driven, correct? And with that, the Dungeon Master doesn't necessarily have to do a ton of prep because they're not putting together a story and all of that. You're just kind of like going off of what the players want to do. Smash that like button, come on. Yeah, I mean, if you want to smash the like button, obliterate it. I don't know why people are so aggressive with the like button. You can gently tap the like button as well. Or you can smash it. It's entirely up to you. Destroy the like button. I don't know where this aggression towards the like buttons started, but yeah, whatever. It is what it is. The like button is in some weird kinky BDSM stuff, apparently. Can you? Never mind. I'm not going to go down that road. I'm going to move on. We're going to keep this PG. West Marches is a shared world with many DMs, and every player has many characters progressing through it. It's often one-shots and mini story arcs throughout. Interesting. I might have to look into West Marches more. I guess my impression of it isn't exactly... That doesn't sound accurate to my impression of West Marches. I thought West Marches was... I don't know. So one week I could DM running an idea I had for a volcano adventure. The next, I'm a player in a ghost maze. See, that does sound cool, and I'm actually trying to implement something sort of like that, but different. Maybe I need to look into West Marches. That's actually one of the things I like about Adventurers League is you can bounce back and forth between being a DM or a player. Because, you know, somebody might just run like a one-shot or, you know, you just plan a random adventure here or there. And so that's what's appealing about Adventures League. I do like me a little homebrew, so, you know, I'm sad that it has to be pretty much all rules is written, but I think it's still worth it. What's your favorite class to play? Do you have a favorite class to DM for? Ooh, that's a tough one. My favorite class to play, I typically like spellcasters, but I think I have the most, I don't have the most player experience, but I think I enjoy playing things like fighters and barbarians and stuff like that, where I just get to be a dumb player, or not a dumb player, but like play a dumb character, because I don't know, it's just fun. And I don't know, you can be comedic. Actually, no, I take that back. I've now remembered some of my experience. A bard is my favorite class to play. Yes. Because again, my sense of humor just suits a bard well. My favorite to DM for anything that's not a spellcaster. No, I'm just playing. It just really depends on how a player wants to role play. So we have 7 viewers right now and only 3 likes. Shameful. I see. Oh, yeah, only 3 likes. Yeah, I mean, if people want to hit the like button, helps me out. It's my first live stream, so, you know, hit the like button. I guess. What other tabletop RPG systems have you played / wanted to play? I have not played in too many other things besides 5th edition. I've played in some kind of, if you're familiar with Honey Heist, that's pretty fun, but it's not serious. It's just kind of goofy, and so that's fun to do at like birthday parties or something. If nobody knows how to play D&D, you can pull out Honey Heist, and it's just a fun one. I want to try. I've read a lot of older edition rules, and I've started reading Pathfinder, and I think I want to try one of those, but I don't know. I also just like 5th edition. Well, more everyone I know plays 5th edition, so it's just a lot easier to play 5th edition. I tend to like experience points more than most modern players because it was so fun in West Marches style. I didn't know it's called West Marches at the time. It's what we made up, and it worked. I do not like experience points. Now I am more of a modern player / DM, so that probably makes sense. But I am not. I much prefer milestone or doing. I guess technically they do have rules for experience that let you give out experience for completing challenges or overcoming challenges, whether you had to kill things or not. But I just prefer milestone. It's so much easier. What's your thoughts on OneD&D? What's good? What's bad? Oh, OneD&D. That is. I have a lot of thoughts on OneD&D. I'll say I'm not super familiar with all of the specifics of the playtest material. I've watched all the interviews that Jeremy Crawford did, and I'm familiar with what they've talked about and where they're wanting to go with it. I skimmed through the PDF. I haven't playtested any of it or really like scrubbed through it. My overall thoughts on it is it's kind of scary, but it could be good. I'm excited to rip OneD&D to pieces. Yeah. So I guess I want to start off. I do have some opinions on some of the playtest material, and that there's 2 sides of it. With the playtest material, something to keep in mind, that is not what they're actually planning on implementing into or I shouldn't say not planning on implementing it. We don't know that that's going to be in OneD&D. That's playtest stuff that they're considering. So you shouldn't talk about it like it's a for sure thing or get super upset because they're wanting to take away your crits. But at the same time, for everyone that says don't get upset about it or, don't worry about it because it's just playtest material, you should share your thoughts on it. You should absolutely share your thoughts on it because that's how Wizards of the Coast knows you hate the idea that they're getting rid of crits. So absolutely share your opinions, but I wouldn't get super upset at anything just yet. I don't know why they're wanting to get rid of crits. My biggest fear is that I'm not confident in Wizards of the Coast to release enough tools for DMs. Blah, blah. You think we'll get a DMG? Excuse me, sorry. Yeah. I also am worried that we might get a page saying DMs can just do whatevs. I don't know if that's going to be an issue because I think I have this conspiracy theory, which is the reason they're not putting a lot of hard mechanics into new things that they're releasing at the moment is because they don't have for sure mechanics for OneD&D established yet, which is why we still have like 2 years of playtest before it's actually released. And they've already said that 5th edition will be compatible with OneD&D. So my thought here is that they're not putting a ton of mechanics in any of the stuff they're releasing because they need to make sure it's compatible with OneD&D, but that's hard to do when they don't know all of the rules in OneD&D. Potentially. I also just think they're probably putting a lot more effort into OneD&D than into some of the stuff they're releasing at the moment. Let's be real, the current team of Balance kind of sucks at their job, so I will find things that are broken, and D&D will be fresh once again. Yeah, Caleb, I tend to agree with that statement, but I also, Wizards of the Coast is here for some money, and I think they're afraid that people will stop buying 5th edition stuff if they say, 5th edition might not be compatible with OneD&D. I think Wizards of the Coast fear is people will be like, well, why am I buying this then? Some fears that I also have is, I'll be honest. So I play a lot online. I guess my background doesn't matter all too much, but I grew up kind of traveling around. I lived in the South for a while where there weren't a ton of people as nerdy as me and playing games. So I am a big fan of playing online because regardless of where you are, you can always find people to connect with and play games online. That's part of what got me really into gaming, was me traveling around as much as I did growing up. So even though right now I'm living about a mile south of Seattle and there's tons of game stores and people around me, I still prefer online because I like, I don't know, connecting with people online. And if, you out there live somewhere where there's no D&D anywhere near you, I like the idea that we could still play in games together. So I say all of that, kind of bringing this back around to OneD&D, because they're releasing a virtual tabletop. And it scares me because I am afraid that they are going to try and not support any of the other virtual tabletops, which is, if you guys have watched much of my channel, I'm a huge fan of Foundry. I'm afraid that they're not going to support much of that, and then their virtual tabletop's going to kind of suck, or it's going to be a big money grab because, if they have 3D, it's all 3D stuff. Adding a token, do you need to are they going to team up with Hero Forge and it's going to cost you $5 to create a PC token? I don't know. I'm just worried the direction they might be going and trying to make that money. Your opinion, and you can have it, but playing game online now, and it's just not the same. Voice chat is pale comparison to table. Way more work for maps and stuff. I agree that in person is superior to online, in that I think just in person is better, but online has a few advantages, such as I can play with my brother that's 3,000 miles away online, whereas in person, us playing together just is not an option. And then if you have to deal with traffic, travel, any of that stuff, online is just far more convenient. I have spent many nights trying to figure out how to enhance the role play and the chatting online. Webcams, I'm a big fan of webcams because I think that adds to it, but it's still not the same. So I agree with that. I've spent so much money on fancy dice, I can't use them online. Yeah, I just recently started buying dice. Yeah, and so that's what I like. Going outside requires pants. True. I recently bought some dice, and I have a 3D printer, so I've started printing off minis and painting them. So hold on, I got cords wrapped around me. All right, crisis averted. So this is my first ever painted mini. My camera's not going to focus on. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's like a makeup tutorial. Yeah. And then yeah, I just bought some fancy dice, which I don't know if the camera's going to pick up, but it looks like they kind of glow because it has like this metal inside. Anyway, yeah, online has some advantage, or in person definitely has some advantages. And I like all the physical things that you can mess with and buy and paint and all of that, but I like being able to connect with people all over, and I don't know, I guess I don't know. Well, thank you. I try. I spent like, I don't even know how long I spent painting it. I was so nervous. I was like, I'm going to mess it up. It was pretty fun, though. It was pretty fun. If you guys have never painted minis, I'd give it a try, even if you don't play in person. So yeah, OneD&D, it's gonna be interesting. I'm nervous, but I guess everyone can take comfort in the fact that even if OneD&D becomes absolute trash and Wizards of the Coast tries changing everything, something that Dungeons and Dragons has over many other things, like if you ever played League of Legends, I loved that game, or like WoW. As Jake said, 5e will still exist. Because of the way it functions, it's not like an online game where when they update it, you have to update or you can't play. I own this book. This was on top. It's probably not the greatest example, but I own this book. Actually, no, it is a good example, because as much as Wizards of the Coast would like to go back and change this racist paragraph or backstory, they can't. Like this book, I mean, they can for like official lore, but like this book, if this is what I wanted to use, I always have it. If they change the rules, I always have that book. So if OneD&D gets weird, like you can always still play 5th edition. You can always still use some of the older books. And so that's one thing that I take comfort in. Oh, how to D&D. Hey, it's good to see you. Don't panic is always good advice. I assume you're referring to painting a mini, which I appreciate. But not panicking for DMing as well, if that's what you were getting at, is also great advice. Just have fun. But yeah, I was a little bit worried. I like the way it turned out, though. It's also good advice for players. That's true. I don't know how many of you, the first time you were ever a player, which is weird because I DM'd for, I was a DM for like a year before I was ever a player. Like I DM'd for a while before ever playing as a player. And the first time I ever played as a player, I was like, I don't know how this dungeon master is going to run things. And I was kind of nervous. And I definitely was kind of like worried and a little panicked before playing as a player, which is so weird because you're playing a game that's for fun, but I don't know. Some of us stress about the weirdest things. OneD&D has created a lot of fear. Oh, that's what you're talking about. OneD&D. Yeah. There's so many things not to panic about. That's just good advice in general, I suppose. Just don't panic. Same, me and the guys were all new to D&D, and I started DMing without knowing the game as much. Yeah, I don't think that, I mean, I think that's a good way to start. Obviously, it's nice if you can be a player before you're running games, but if you're in a situation like me and some of my friends were, where none of us had ever played D&D and we all wanted to play, it's a great way. And I'll say some of the most fun I've had playing D&D were in those early days where I had no idea what I was doing, and we were just making up rules and just kind of rolling with it and playing the game how we thought it was supposed to be played, and we didn't necessarily know the rules and how, like, we didn't know how it was supposed to be played, so we just kind of played it how we thought it should. And so that was a lot of fun. I look back on those memories fondly. Flutes, your internet's back. Well, welcome back. Internet going out's never fun. Like when we almost had a TPK because we tried fighting a Mind Flayer at level 2. Yeah, when you guys almost got TPK'd. So we were playing Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and if you know about that, if you're familiar with that, at the beginning, there's a mind flayer that disappears through the portal. But one of my players was playing a bard and tried to quickly ran up there and persuaded the mind flayer to not leave, and then tried to fight it. It was interesting. I was tempted to fight a dragon turtle at level 4. Greedy, didn't go for it. Probably a good move. Dragon turtles can be a little tough, especially at level 4. But yeah, I guess in essence, don't panic. Fight that mind flayer, and if y'all get TPK'd, it's fine. No, I'm just playing. Or one of us got mind controlled because we robbed them, and sorry. If you're not one of my players, you're probably confused by some of the people in chat just bringing up random times. My players have almost done a lot of questionable things and have almost gotten TPK'd many times. Hello. So you've commented on a few of the videos, and I'm not sure how to say your name. Irgit? Is there a phonetic spelling? And don't be afraid to kill your players. My opinions on killing my players' characters. Okay, I'll work on that. Players do questionable things. It's their job. It is their job, and you just roll with it. I've started doing this thing so I play online, as we've said. When I typically don't roll in the open, just because I don't like a lot of VTTs and stuff will show information, and I don't care to go and hide it all, but I don't want them to know what the DC is or what's going to happen if they fail the DC. So I typically just roll to myself and just roll through things more cinematically. But if it's ever close to TPK, I just start rolling everything out in the open so that they know I'm not. So that they know that I'm not. If they survive, it's because of the decisions they made or the way they rolled. So every time they've almost gotten TPK'd and they've survived, I start just rolling out in the open so that they know. It's still illegal to kill players, but not the characters. Correct, Fred. Absolutely correct. We talked about this earlier. No killing players. Okay to kill characters. You joined the Discord? Okay. Yeah, so for anyone that doesn't know, I am running some Adventure League games on my Discord server. It's still pretty early. We've some of my players are practicing DMing as well, so games kind of pop up. We typically run maybe 1 to 2 a week. And so if you want to join, you can, and if you see a game popping up that you want to play in, feel free to do so. We generally it's pretty relaxed. I don't get super serious with it because we play for fun. My barbarian was sentenced, found guilty, and executed 2 months ago. Did I miss something? When I DM, I don't try to kill players, but I won't pull punches. Only time I fudge dice is if up to the combat balance, it's way harder or easier than planned. Yeah, so I've done that before. The last time I think I fudged a roll was probably I don't know, months ago. It wasn't even in our current campaign. I don't think I fudged a roll in our current campaign, and it was supposed to be a hard fight. The fight was deadly. It was supposed to be very hard, and the main boss had 3 attacks in a turn and rolled 3 crits in a row. And so, I turned 2 of the crits into just regular hits because I was like, all right, that's the plausibility. I mean, I don't know. I should also say we use a homebrew rule to max the crit dice, so crits are pretty hard hitting. And so when a hard fight, the boss rolls 3 crits in a row. That was the last time I fudged a roll, and it was probably almost a year ago. And the party still almost died, but they did win. I don't think anybody died in that fight. No, nobody died. Is there a link to the Discord? Yeah, let me. I can put that in chat. Sure, let's create. yeah, you can join right there. The Discord server is still pretty new. I'm still kind of getting some things set up. But yeah, we have some fun in there. Pop in my DM Cherry tomorrow. Yep. Should be fun. That is actually another one of my players, and he is running, a game tomorrow, and I'm supposed to send him a game. I will do that, so you have time to prepare very soon. Probably as soon as I get off of here, I will I will send you that game so you can start reading, or the adventure. Your DM had you executed? Brutal. Oh yeah, I was gonna see. I thought I was missing something where it said your barbarian was sentenced, found guilty, and executed 2 months ago. Was that an AL character or just a, I don't know, a standard home game? What do you call just regular D&D? A homebrew campaign? Okay. Yeah. I'm curious. What did your barbarian do to get executed? I rolled a paladin after. Paladins are pretty fun. I like paladins. I'll say, though, my advice for people running paladins, you do not have to run it, is a goody two-shoe, what you think of as like the typical paladin. You can if that's what you want to do, if that's what you envision your paladin to be, but you can run a paladin that's a little more dynamic. Particularly if you have one of the oaths, like an oath of vengeance. Like, understand what your oath is, and you can be a little bit more flexible with your paladin. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, I mean, I guess technically they have to be lawful good, but that's actually, do they even have to be lawful good? They have to be lawful, I think. I guess if it was 2 months ago, you're already playing your paladin, so what am I even talking about? Remember when a certain player tried bribing a magistrate? Good times. Oh yeah, man, my players have done some wacky things. Want to play a paladin? Required to listen to Sabaton or Powerwolf before every session. Really getting that. I'm not familiar with Powerwolf or Sabaton, so I don't know if I should be admitting that. Is that something very well known? He was trying to get the attention of someone in a magically locked academy, and the gargoyle sentries attacked him. It became a whole thing after the guards saw and attacked. Okay. All right, Jake. It was fun chatting with you. Have a good night. If anyone had any, I did want to kind of gauge some people's or not interest, but thoughts on Spelljammer. So, how many people in the chat have actually played in Spelljammer? Have some experience and thoughts and opinions on Spelljammer? I'm curious. Just a few things, and specifically with the new races, because I'm curious how some of those are going. Too soon to tell? Yeah, I know Spelljammer hasn't been out a super long time, which is why I'm curious what some people's experiences are. I've had the opportunity to play a Plasmoid. That one was pretty fun, and it wasn't as broken as I shouldn't say broken. But it seemed like a very strong class. It wasn't too strong. Not yet would be interested, but didn't get a lot of options to play outside my normal game. Yeah, well, I have been running Spelljammer games on the Discord server. I've been working on trying to get everyone that's interested running through the academy to get everyone to tier 2, so level 5. Bro, when are you going to run some Discord games? There's a game on Thursday. I'm trying to remember what it was. It's a Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel game. So not a Spelljammer game. But I'll probably run some more Spelljammer games next week. And so if you like low-level games, eventually I'm going to get to the higher-level Spelljammer games, but I'm kind of waiting for some more adventures to come out for those. Though D&D did release the AL adaptation guide, so I could start running the Light of Xerxes. But I don't know. Yeah, the elves, there are just some of the races that seem pretty strong, like the astral elves, and basically having Misty Step, like, what is it, your proficiency bonus times a day? You can use it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Is that how they say that? I don't know. That one just seems kind of broke. Yeah, I saw that game on Thursday. So you can't roll a level 6 character, but you can do a level 5 character. So with Adventures League, you can create a level 1 or a level 5 character. And if you create a level 5 character, you also get to add a magical item. There's a list of magical items. It's on the one of the under the AL rules. There's a player's guide, and it has a list of the magical items that you can add. Well, you get to pick one of them for your level 5 character. So even though that adventure that I'm running is designed for average player level of 6, you could still run. You could still play a level 5 character in there if you wanted. Also, am I the only one who thinks it's weird? I've said it in like 2 different videos now, but am I the only one that thinks it's weird that the GIF have a swim speed, but the turtle people don't? And when I say turtle people, because I want to make it clear that turtles, it specifically says turtles are turtle people, not tortoises. Because if they were a tortoise, tortoises can't swim. So that would make sense. But it says they're turtle people, and turtles can swim. So turtle people can't, so the people based on turtles can't swim, the people based on hippos can. And the reason I think that's weird is because hippos can't swim. Am I the only one that thinks that's weird? Especially because GIF are space creatures, mostly. I mean, they don't know what their origin is. They basically bounce around space. And so it's like, I don't even know where you all would have learned to swim in space anyway. Just, it seems weird. I'm not upset about it. I don't think it breaks the balance of the game. I just think it's weird, you know? I remember you saying that because you said hippos can't swim. They can't. They can't swim. They literally run along the bottom. There's a video on it. You can go watch it. And they can only hold their breath for like 5 minutes too, which is crazy because before doing that video, I did have to look that up to make sure that I wasn't insane or remembering things incorrectly. And then I was like, oh yeah, they just hold their breath, and they can only hold their breath for like 5 minutes. They also have this reflex, which I didn't know until I was looking that up for the video, where they actually, without waking up when they need to take a breath, they'll like bounce to the surface, take a breath, and they'll sink back down. And they do that without waking up. It's crazy. Animals. Wild. Anyway, I just think that that's bizarre. I also pronounce them GIF, though the book does make a joke that you could pronounce it GIF. But GIF is the side that I side on. I think that's what I've heard everyone say. I don't know if anybody actually says GIF. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're in the chat and you say GIF, let me know. And I'm sorry that you're wrong. I'm just playing. It was a joke. Yeah, so does anybody have any other questions? If not, I wasn't wanting to do a super long live stream, just kind of testing it out, making sure everything works. I wanted a chance to kind of chat with some people, engage, see how the live stream does. If I do this in the future, I'll probably have something a little more targeted than just like chatting. Maybe we'll discuss Spelljammer. John Walker, hey, just wanted to tell Iron Man is better than Captain America. Oh, how do you ban people? Where's the... No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Iron Man's way better. Why am I being attacked right now? Iron Man for the win. I want you to look at Captain America. Look him in the face and tell him that Iron Man is better. Can you do it? No, you can't. Look at his face. He's hanging on a rope. Iron Man is better. Oh, you people. Oh, you people. Okay. Wow. My whole chat turned against me so quickly. Spider-Man's best. All right, Spider-Man is pretty cool. I thought it was a stripper pole. I'm pretty sure it's a rope. I think he's supposed to be rappelling. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to say it's a rope and he's rappelling. It doesn't actually say. Yep, nowhere on here does it actually say what it is. It could be a stripper pole. I'll be honest. It's so much better when you think of it as a stripper pole. Look at that. I thought of him as rappelling, but now I only see him spinning in a circle on this. Well, thank you for that. That's fun. For those that don't know, I used to be in the Army, and my last name is Rogers. And so my unit nicknamed me Captain America, which got so out of hand that people started saluting me, and I also almost got in trouble on multiple occasions, as there would be just, you know, if you don't know about the Army, I was not an officer, and so you typically don't salute people that aren't officers. And so there would be like people of a higher rank that heard about it, knew kind of the joke, and would walk around and salute me if they saw me, and it was really awkward sometimes. But I have like a million Captain America shirts, and like this, I didn't buy this. It was a gift from somebody, and people just give me a bunch of Captain America shirts because the nickname really stuck. Air Force, nice, nice. I'm going to refrain from making any Air Force jokes. But the Air Force sounds nice. Oh, I see I missed Dubstep Articuno, which is a fantastic name. It said that he pronounces it GIF. But it sounds like it's not even because you think that it's supposed to be pronounced GIF, but mostly because it makes your brother lose his mind. Which I can respect that. I can respect that. And as far as who is cooler, Captain America or Iron Man, imagine Captain America stripping in MCU. You know, no, they couldn't do that with Captain America. Like he's too much of a like a Boy Scout. He wouldn't do it. I do think Iron Man is really cool. I'm not going to say that cooler than Captain America, but Iron Man is cool. I also agree that Spider-Man is the best because I am a big fan of Spider-Man. Have you seen The Boys? Absolutely, I have seen The Boys. Roll deception. Hold on. I look for any opportunity to roll dice. I can't believe, so I was in fantasy football in a draft because I'm just all about that fantasy life, and I forgot to bring my dice to the draft. I don't know how I made any decision. So that was a 7 on the dice for deception. I don't know what my modifier is. John, was there a follow-up, or were you just curious if I had seen The Boys? You just never show your rolls, do you? Oh, did you want to see my roll? I don't even know if I could have shown it in there. Here, I'll put it back to a 7. That way it feels legit. Oh, hold on. There we go. That's what it rolled. Nope, absolutely, I couldn't show that. I don't have a second camera. You know, I'll be completely honest. Before going live, I thought there was going to be a lot more discussion on Spelljammer, OneD&D, or just some other D&D related topic. This is like really derailed. This feels like I'm DMing a campaign, and just instantly, it's not going at all the direction I think it will, and we're just off the rails. We're into I don't even know where. All right, I'm gonna call it in probably we'll say 9 minutes. I'll do an even like 1 hour. So if there's any burning questions that you have for me, uh, speak them now or forever hold your peace. And by that I mean you could also just drop it in pretty much any comment in one of my videos or on my Discord. I haven't gotten the opportunity to playtest OneD&D, so I only know how I feel about, or I only know how I feel and how Reddit feels. True. Most of my feelings, I'll be completely honest, about OneD&D are not even about the playtest material because all of that's so much up to change. I don't necessarily like the direction they're going with all of it, but a lot of my opinions on OneD&D are more related around the business aspect of it and what I'm afraid Wizards of the Coast is going to do in the future. In that, fifth edition got so popular because it was so accessible and easy to use. Like if you looked up Dungeons and Dragons, it was like, which is kind of the name brand, and then you could get the basic rules for free. And I don't know. I just have this weird fear that they're going to start trying to pull more money from people and not be as open to third-party content and all of that. I saw something else. Will you please play Witchlight? Ah, man. How do you know I don't play Witchlight? Is it because I've just never talked about it? I don't do much in the Feywild. I have heard the Feywild is an epic place. I've played in a single Witchlight adventure, and it was fun. But I typically keep things, I don't know. I just haven't played in the Witchlight or in the Feywild. So I find that funny that you say that because I've never publicly admitted that before. Do a backflip or a front flip. I do not possess the ability to do any sort of flip, not even on a trampoline, though I have attempted it in my youth. I can do a somersault. Actually, no, I'm getting too old for that. I don't even want a somersault. And you still limp to this day. Hey, that's just the military. I swear my knees are like 10 years older after 6 years doing ruck marches and stupid army stuff. It has an effect on your joints. Um, yeah. I had planned on 6 more minutes, but I had a recruiter call me and eventually tell me they're not. Oh, wait. Call me and eventually tell me that I'm not applicable, which felt nice. Oh, that does feel nice. I had a recruiter try talking to me, and then I told them that I was already in, so I knew all the lies they were about to tell me, and they just walked away. Shadow Monk or Divine Soul Sorcerer. If you're talking about which one is stronger, absolutely Divine Soul Sorcerer. Divine Soul Sorcerer is just broken. Divine Soul Sorcerer pretty much killed clerics. You get access to all of their healing and I shouldn't say all of their healing because, like life clerics still get some extra healing, but Divine Soul Sorcerers are super strong. You think the Shadow Monk is stronger than a Divine Soul Sorcerer? Is that what you're saying, Sam? If you could make a subclass and it would be official, what would you make? Oof. Oof, that's tough one. Bro, I'm building a cleric right now, and it's by far and away the strongest character I've ever seen. Okay, yeah. Clerics. Okay. Clerics can still be strong and still be good. Clerics are not just healing. That is true. And that is, I guess, something to say for the Divine Soul Sorcerer is it did allow other things besides clerics to be legit healers because, like, I don't know. Druids, like, are druids really healers? I just don't know. But yeah, Divine Soul Sorcerer is definitely stronger, in my opinion, than a Shadow Monk. But I do think Shadow Monks are really fun and cool. Though monks are just kind of weird in general. Do a Russian accent. My accents are somewhat of a meme among my players. So, yeah. If you can make a subclass and it would be official, what would you make? Ooh. I've actually worked on making some subclasses before. I feel like they have a lot of stuff that is already in there and really cool, but some of it needs rebalanced. Like most of the samurai stuff, a Dragon Soul Fighter. We're currently playing. Sam is one of my players, and he made a custom subclass that he is using, which is called a Dragon Soul Fighter. It's pretty cool. If you could make a new class, what would it be? I don't know if anything is like, maybe I'm just not all that creative. I don't know if anything's necessarily missing from D&D as far as like classes or subclasses. Like there's some cool stuff. Like maybe with Spelljammer. I don't know. That's a tough one. I feel like there's just so many things. Like if you want a pirate, you've got swashbuckler stuff. I don't know. They have a lot of stuff. I don't know if anything's missing. I think they just need to better balance some of the weak stuff. A witcher and herbalist. Actually, that is true. I think an herbalist would be really cool, or a better like elementalist. In like MMOs, a lot of the time I like playing elementalist, and so I know you can kind of make an elementalist work with certain stuff, but it's kind of weird finagling that. Actually, yeah, and I definitely I think an herbalist would be pretty cool too. My main character is Jake from State Farm. Shadow Monk. The shadow steps behind, but a healer would be good from Allstate. Dungeon Dudes came up with an alchemist class. I didn't know that. There was one class. What was it? I think it was Matt Coville. Yeah, the Illrigger. That was another pretty cool class that I had read about, which is basically Matt Coville's Illrigger. Yeah. That one's pretty interesting, which is basically like an evil paladin. Yeah, the Illrigger is pretty cool. The combo of sword and sorcery could have a few more options. That I was thinking about that as well. Like Blade Singer is fun, but it would be nice if they had kind of another variation of that. I wouldn't let that touch my game with a 5-foot pole. It's never been in my games, but I think it's really cool. Most things from Matt Mercer, Critical Role is also typically pretty cool, like the Blood Hunter. I think it's pretty cool, and the Wizard subclasses, but they're also really strong. 5 feet still melee, though. That's true. It's true. You wouldn't want to touch that with a 6-foot pole. All right, I'll have to think about that for the next time, but maybe not. My answer, I say that I like a lot of what they have, but as soon as people started putting suggestions, I'm like, oh yeah, that would be really cool. So maybe there is still plenty of room for other stuff. I'm wondering if a Gish subclass for Sorcerer would be cool, like Bladesinger for Sorcerer. So yeah, I think just, I don't know. I want to say another spell casting, like full caster, like, witch or something would be cool, but I don't know how it would differentiate itself from like wizard or sorcerer, because I think that's pretty much has it covered. Like sorcerers are like innate power inside of you. Wizards are studied, you learn it, and then you've got warlocks deal with the devil essentially for your magic power, and I mean and then clerics, divine magic. But I think there might be room for another one. I just don't know exactly how it would fit in. More classic ritual spells? Yeah. Yeah, if you did like a witch, you could do maybe more ritual spells, but ritual spells don't really work that well in combat. So would it just be, unless it's like a buff class where you can do like rituals and like buff for hex. I don't know. That's not the point. Okay. There's a lot of folklore about the sword-wielding warrior who can cast spells to augment his armor. I feel like they have stuff for that. It's just not well balanced, which is what I mean. I think a lot of stuff they have in there, like the idea is there, they just didn't implement it well. Like, isn't that what the warcaster is supposed to be from the wizard subclass? And then don't clerics have something similar to that? And then fighters, isn't there like a rune knight fighter who that's what they do, is augment their armor with magic? I think there's room for a spellcaster who gets their power from weapons, but isn't that what an artificer is? So that's where I'm like maybe they just need to balance their stuff better. Oh, I guess that's true. They do. The rune knight does armor, not weapons. Yeah, it's potato. I guess weapons. I don't know if that changes things enough to really make its own subclass. Anyway, I'm gonna hop off of here. It's been fun hanging out and chatting with everyone. If you want to play in any games with me, like I said, join the Discord server. I'll post it. Don't expect it to be, the most polished or put together thing just yet. I'm still kind of fixing all of that up. But yes, thank you for coming, chatting, and hanging out. It was a joy, pleasure. I don't know. Have a good night. This is why I don't try to say things at the end of my videos. I just end them. I hope there's 2 buttons.